Hey everyone, it's Core Thrill Filmmaking, and today we're talking about the Canon EOS M Magic Lantern and how to nail your focus every time. So a little bit of context for this video. When I'm shooting with the Canon EOS M, this is probably like the configuration that I go out with probably 50 or 60% of the time. I like that it's really low key, it's minimal, you know, really unassuming. I can get into lots of places with just this camera and people are just like, oh, it's a point and shoot. But obviously the quality of footage that I capture out of this with raw video is incredible. But because I run with this small setup, you know, it makes it hard to be able to see what is going on the back LCD screen. Because it doesn't articulate out, it doesn't even flip up or down. It can be really hard when you're trying to like see your shots and you're like, is this in focus? If you're outside, it's really bright. So today I wanted to show you a couple things that I do when I'm rolling in this configuration to make sure I nail focus every time. So without further ado, let's jump in. A quick disclaimer I just wanted to throw out there. I'm using the 22mm like I said in the beginning, but you can use these focus methods and techniques with any lens combination or setup with the EOS M. Just want to throw that out there. Alright, got my Canon EOS M here. We're going to turn it on. We got a lovely shot set up here featuring Link and Midna from Twilight Princess for my Zelda fans. But we're going to go into our Magic Lantern menu. So hold the trash can button down. And we're going to want to navigate over to the display tab. So wherever you are, navigate over to it. And this is where we're going to talk about a couple different methods for things. Generally, the first thing I like to do when I'm doing all my setup for Magic Lantern is to come here to the live digit peaking and adjust it to slightly sharper. I think the default is off, so I turn that on, slightly sharper. That just helps the internal sharpening of the image to just help you nail your focus better. The other thing that I like to make sure that I have on is I go to overlays and I turn focus peaking on. So here are my settings. Right now it's off, but if you hit the play button, you can see I go with the filter bias. I put it on strong edges and I put the threshold at 1.5, the color, local focus, and those are the settings that I use. So then that way, as you can see here on the screen, as I start to bring the image into focus, you can see the edges start to be wrapped around with the focus peaking lines. You can see them moving. And now Link and Midna are surrounded by them. And you can clearly see what is in focus. So they're in focus. I move it back this way. You can see the laptop stand is in focus. Bring them back in focus. So that is super helpful. And especially for stuff that you're doing like lit shots and stuff inside where there's a lot of contrast, it's really easy to see this. This is the setup that I would recommend. Going to my second setup, let's say that you're shooting outside, it's really bright, or maybe you're holding your camera in a way where you can't really see the screen super well. You can see like part of it, but it's hard to see if it's actually in focus. That's where I would go over here, back to our display tab, and I would go in here and instead of having slightly sharper, we would scroll over and I'd go to edge image. Now I know at first you might be seeing this and you're like, Corey, what did you do? But essentially what happens here is the camera uses focus peaking to outline the edge of the image. So you won't see the exposure, you won't see all of that stuff, but you know, if you're looking at your waveform and you can see what things look like and you know your settings, you could be good to go on that. So we hit edge image and this is what we're looking at. And so very similar, you see the focus peaking wrapping around here, but you can see as I turn my focus wheel, you see that the different things are in focus get outlined. And it's very easy to see these outlines and the way that the contrast ratio is set up here on the screen. So if you're in a tight situation where it is maybe really bright outside, it's hard to see your screen, or maybe you can't trust your eyes in some situation, I would highly recommend using this method. I've been using it for probably the last couple months and it has not let me down when I've put something in focus. So let's see, we go here, they look in focus, we're gonna record this, This method has proven very successful for me, like I said, using it over the last couple months. It has allowed me to get focus on shots that I think if I was using the other method, the slightly sharper and really relying on like the traditional focus peaking, I think I wouldn't have gotten the shots. So I'd highly recommend trying this out. It's super helpful and it's really easy to set up in your camera. Well, there you go. Those are the couple methods that I use to make sure I nail focus when I'm using the camera in this small minimal setup, which I highly encourage you should go out and try. Like, I love the fact that this camera can be rigged up and like make it all cinema rig, but I do love the fact that it's so tiny and portable and you can get it into so many places, and the quality of footage you can get out of it is just incredible. If you found this video helpful, interesting, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to Real Filmmaking for more content coming about filmmaking, magic lantern, creative process, all that goodness. And until next time, keep making movies and watching movies, and I'll see you on Real Filmmaking.